Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here with the pregame report between the Edmonton Oilers and the Chicago Blackhawks. Yes, if you did not see my videos that I made yesterday, I have kind of changed everything in my background. So if you enjoy this more than the green screen effect and the fake image of those Stanley Cups and stuff that was behind me, if you prefer the natural look of my room, just give me that feedback in the comment section. I personally really like the look of this. I've had to tweak how some of my graphics settings look, and I'm still doing a lot of tweaks in OBS. So keep an eye out for more changes to the layout as I continue to tweak and adjust things. Into the pregame report, the Edmonton Oilers are coming off a pretty bad loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins. However, I am chalking that up as a one-off. I do expect Edmonton to head into Chicago tonight and lay an absolute pounding on the Blackhawks, and no offense and no disrespect to Chicago or the Chicago Blackhawks players. This is a game that the Oilers should come out on top. Chicago did play last night. They are in the second half of a back-to-back, and for the Edmonton Oilers, you have to jump on Chicago early and make them fatigued, make them chase you throughout the game and tire them out. If Chicago gets an early lead, well, then they get to go into a bit of a shell there, and then the Oilers are going to be forced to be pushing, just like they had to do against Pittsburgh, but their deficit against Pittsburgh was just too much to overcome, and the Oilers cannot keep playing from behind like that. Edmonton has to, number one, get the first goal of the game, number two, hold on to the lead, and number three, push the pace and prevent Chicago from getting themselves into it. If you enjoy this pregame report and you want to see more, make sure to smash the like button. And if you really like it, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed. I will also be doing a live stream commentary tonight for the game. I'll be going live at about 5:30 p.m. Mountain, just with how my work schedule works. I will likely miss a good chunk of the first period for the live stream, but keep an eye out. I will be going live tonight. I also have more hockey cards to open. You can see them just behind me on my desk there. We'll be opening some hockey card packs during the intermissions, and I'll be giving away a few gifted memberships as well. I cannot wait. The live streams are a ton of fun. So let's jump into the lineups and then the game day predictions, of course. Projected lineup. Now, as of the recording of this video, nothing's been confirmed. Connor Bedard was not at practice yesterday because he was in Erie for his jersey retirement with the Erie Otters. So yesterday they had Jeff Skinner up on the top line in his place, and Mark Spector put out and said that Jeff Skinner is the likely healthy scratch today. So for my projected lineup, Nugent Hopkins with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman. I do kind of project Hyman to be bumped back up to that top line. Second line will remain Podkolzin, Draisaitl, and Arvidsson. Third line, Janmark, Henrique, and Connor Brown. Fourth line, Corey Perry, Derek Ryan, Kasperi Kapanen, and then Jeff Skinner as the extra forward. If this is true, if this is actually coming to fruition and Jeff Skinner is a healthy scratch once again, this does not make sense to me, and I do not agree with it at all. Jeff Skinner, until that Penguins game, he was on a 3-game point streak. He had a nice goal against Seattle. He set up Adam Henrique for a nice goal against Boston. He had been playing much, much better along the walls, in the defensive zone, in the offensive zone. He had been good with his stick. He was tenacious on the puck. His back checking was good. I don't really understand the logic here. And to pick Jeff Skinner out of the entire group, they really didn't perform the way they needed to against Pittsburgh. And healthy scratch Skinner out of everyone, I don't really understand that one. Again, I'm not going to get too worked up unless this is actually true. Of course, Mark Spector could have just been speculating based on how the practice lines were going yesterday. But Jeff Skinner, I don't think he's the one that deserves to be healthy scratched. I think him not playing over guys like Derek Ryan at this point in their careers makes no sense. Jeff Skinner is someone that, he's scored 350 goals on some pretty bad teams, and you bring him in and you're not utilizing him in a way where he can be effective. And I was hard on Jeff Skinner earlier in the season too. So it's not like I've disagreed with healthy scratching in the past, because I wanted him healthy scratched earlier in the season. But as of right now, I don't, because he had been earning his ice time. He has been playing better than guys like Matthias Janmark, in my personal opinion. So this is an interesting one. If this holds up, let me know your thoughts in the comments section, because I really want to know what you think, Oil Country. Jeff Skinner clearly is in Chris Knobloch's doghouse, and I don't think he's going to be able to find that key and get himself out of it anytime soon. On defense, we'll have Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Josh Brown, maybe Kulak with Emberson, and Troy Stetcher as the extra D-man. I don't know if Troy Stetcher is hurt right now. I don't know if they're just getting a look at Josh Brown. I don't know what the logic is in playing Josh Brown over Troy Stetcher. However, I will say, to Josh Brown's credit, And again, this is a very, very small sample size. His games against Pittsburgh and Boston, Josh Brown did have an expected goals for percentage of 66.99%, and he didn't look out of place at all. Yes, he is very slow. Yes, he cannot make a pass to save his life, but in terms of his defensive impact and his on-ice impact, those two games against Pittsburgh and Boston in sheltered minutes, he looked fine. There was no issues there. I still would prefer Troy Stecher. I don't think Josh Brown is a solution on this back end. And long term, the longer you play Josh Brown, the less likely he will have success on the ice. And again, this is not me trying to disrespect the player, because I root for all of these players. Whoever is in the lineup, I want what's best for the team. I want the team to win. But Josh Brown, this is an interesting situation where he's getting a lot of ice time over a guy like Troy Stecher, who I thought had been putting in quality minutes for most of the season. So again, let me know your thoughts on that one as well. I'm curious to know. And then in goal, I actually do think Calvin Pickard's going to get the start, only because Stuart Skinner had been getting the bulk of the starts recently, and they have a lot of games coming up here. This is the start of, I can't remember what it is. It's like 5 games in 8 nights or something. So for the Edmonton Oilers, this is the start of a bit of a tough schedule, a lot of travel. So don't be surprised to see Calvin Pickard get into a couple games here. There is a back-to-back next week, Minnesota and Colorado, but maybe Calvin Pickard gets the start tonight. You let Stu Skinner rest and play the LA Kings on Monday back at Edmonton, which, by the way, I will be going to that game against LA. So if we want to do a bit of a fan meetup at Rogers Place before the game, if you're going to the game, I'd love to meet some of you. I cannot wait for that. It's going to be a ton of fun. But I'd like to see Calvin Pickard in goal today and then have Skinner rested and ready to go on Monday against the LA Kings, because I think Skinner just needs a little bit of extra rest, and I think he just needs a game off to mentally reset, because that Penguins game did not go very well. Skinner, he's usually not very emotional out on the ice, but during one of the commercial breaks, I think it was an ESPN camera panned to him, and he yelled an F-bomb. I think it was after Pittsburgh's 3rd goal. So for Skinner, maybe he just needs a bit of a break here. Now, let's get into the game day predictions and stats. The Chicago Blackhawks, they are 14-26-2 on the season. The Edmonton Oilers, actually, hold on, I didn't change their stats up. They are 25-13-3. There we go. And they are 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. So, but we are going to talk about Chicago here. Chicago is 3-7 in their last 10, and it has been an absolute nightmare season. If you're a Chicago Blackhawk or a Chicago Blackhawks fan, I don't think things have gone anywhere close to what they were expecting. Yes, they are fully in a rebuild, but you look at other teams that have, in the middle of rebuilds that are performing maybe above expectations, like the Montreal Canadiens right now. I think Chicago, with some of the pieces that they added, they were hoping to be a little bit more competitive. However, in saying that, they did beat the Oilers 5-2 back in October, that first week of the season. So the Oilers cannot take a night off here. Chicago, they do have players where if you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile and they're going to make you pay. Guys like Connor Bedard are starting to play much better than they were earlier in the season. So Edmonton's got to be careful here. Expected goals for the Chicago Blackhawks, they rank 30th in the league, 44.98%. Their power play ranks 12th at 23.1%. Pretty good power play. And their penalty kill, surprisingly, ranks 5th in the NHL at 83.6%. So really interesting that Chicago's special teams is very good, but they are they're pretty dreadful when it comes to the 5-on-5 play. Chicago only scores 2.55 goals per game, which ranks 29th. They give up 3.40 goals per game, which ranks 28th. Their Corsi for ranks 31st, 45.04%, and their shots for percentage ranks 30th at 46.07%. Now, when you contrast that and look over on the Oilers side, expected goals for at 5-on-5 ranks 4th best in the NHL, 54.37%. That number has been steadily climbing recently. They had a bit of a dip in December, but since January, it's been climbing back up. Their power play also climbing up the ranks, 24%, which ranks 10th. Their penalty kill ranks 24th at 76.6%. They did give up a power play goal to Pittsburgh, so that dropped their penalty kill percentage just a little bit. Goals for per game ranks 8th best in the league, 3.29. Goals against per game ranks 10th best in the NHL at 2.78. Their Corsi for ranks 3rd, 53.94%, and their shots for percentage ranks 2nd, 54.97%. My players to watch are Connor Bedard and Connor McDavid, the two Connors going up against each other. I am curious to see how McDavid's going to play after being in Erie last night, traveling to Chicago. Not that it's like a long travel or anything. And then my score prediction, I'm going to go 4-1 Edmonton. I do expect a pretty fun game tonight. I'm hoping for the best for the Edmonton Oilers, and I am excited to watch Connor Bedard. He's one of my favorite players in the entire league, and I don't think he's had the season that he was hoping for. I don't think he's had the season that I think Blackhawks fans have been hoping for, but he's still a very dynamic player. He's still almost a point per game on a very, very bad Blackhawks team, so keep an eye out for Connor Bedard. Of course, there's a former Oiler as well on Chicago. You have Taylor Hall on there, and a lot of Oilers fans have been kind of wondering if Taylor Hall would be a trade deadline rental that they could go after. I'm not sure if he would be the answer, but he would be an interesting add if the Oilers were to pick him up. I don't think they will. I think that ship has sailed. I really don't think Taylor Hall will be an Edmonton Oiler by the trade deadline. However, it is fun to think about. Anyways, guys, that is all for me. I will see you all tonight for the live stream. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. And if you really liked it, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you like some of the changes that I've made to how I'm presenting these videos, especially with what's going on in the background, the webcam, the graphics, please give me that feedback in the comments section below as I continue to kind of tweak things out and tweak things out. And that doesn't sound great. Anyways, tell someone that you love them. And as always, fight like a kid. Fight like Ben. Let's go Oilers. I'll see you all tonight during the live stream.